residents and, more importantly, the businesses and the business community as a whole. So I wanted to first start out with a quote, thought, kind of get us going, and it says, leadership is a matter of having people look at you and gain confidence seeing how you react. As a Rotarian, we have the four-way test, and it kind of embodies this quote as well about everything that we do. How are you being judged? Are you being fair with people, etc.? So I just wanted to share that and have that as our thought guiding us today. I would like to thank our State of the City sponsors, Sino Construction, Discovery Homes, and Sierra Pacific Properties, and PG, so we'll give a round of applause for them. I'd also like to welcome and thank our President's Club sponsors. We have USS Fosco, Sino Homes and Construction, Keller Canyon Landfill Company for Public Services, Chevron, Pittsburgh Disposal, Dow Chemical Company, PASA, and Mechanics Bank, PG&E, and last but not least, Raymar Foods International Corporation. So if we can give a round of applause for that. We do have, I believe, some dignitaries in the room that we'd like to recognize. I have not seen him, but recognizing Supervisor Federal Glover and those from his office. And as I call your name, you can stand and wave and do the politician thing. We have Charles Dulac from the office of Assemblymember Jim Frazier. We have Chanel Scales Pierce Preston from the office of Congressman Mark DeSaulniers' office. Michael Swansler from the office of Assemblymember Tim Grayson. Senator Glazer's office, Darrell Little. And also from Senator Glazer's office, Cassandra Greenblatt. So, is everybody enjoying the food?
Yeah.
It's better than tri-tip at 11:30 in the morning. I love it. It's great stuff. So, continue to eat. We are going to start our program, and I would like to first introduce somebody very important, and that's our current mayor. And I'm going to read a bio about all the great things that he's done in his career, what he's doing for our city. So, Dwayne P. Longmire began his service to the community in the 1990s, serving as a police officer for the city of Pittsburgh. After leaving the city, he operated his own private investigation company and currently serves as the head of security for the Northern California area of a large healthcare organization. He was elected to the city council in 2010. He serves on the following boards: Contra Costa County Fire District, East Contra Costa County Habitat Conservancy, Tri-Local Transit, and various other subcommittees. So at this time, we can get a round of applause and welcome up to stand Mayor Pete.
So we want to be respectful.
Can't hear you.
Turn on the mic.
Turn on the mic.
Okay, is that any better? Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay, beautiful. Better, right?
Yep.
All right. So let's start all over again. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. All right. So we want to be very respectful of everyone's time. So we only have a short window of time that we want to present. We plan on giving an awful lot of information to you all about what's happening in the city of Pittsburgh. And at the end of it all, we want to tell you what we believe is the condition of the city of Pittsburgh and the direction that we're actually going in. First, let me introduce, let me have that list over there. There's a few people that we would also like to acknowledge today. Holland White from Supervisor's Glover's office. From our Pittsburgh Unified School District partners, we have Board Member George Miller and Dwayne Smith. From our Planning Commission, we have Yuri Foster. Our former mayor and current city treasurer, Nancy Parent. Alice Evenson, our city clerk. We have Ben Johnson, our former mayor, is here. And we have Jeannie Craig from Tri-Delta Transit, award-winning Tri-Delta Transit. I would like to also introduce my colleagues, starting off with Sal Avila, Vice Mayor. Juan Banales. Ronnie Killings. Last but not least, Merle Kraft. I'd like to also say that this year Merle Kraft was recognized by Assemblyman Tim Grayson as the Woman of the Year, so congratulations. We have Staff Assistant Heidi Murrow that's going to be working our slide presentations for all the presenters. And you may not see this, but she has a shepherd hook sitting on the floor, so if we get too long-winded, she'll just get us out of here, right? Okay, like I said, our goal is today is to tell you what's going on within the city and how Team Pittsburgh makes our city an attractive place to live, work, and play. Today you're going to hear from several presenters. You're going to hear from our city manager, Joe Sobrante, our assistant city manager, Garrett Evans, and you're going to hear from Captain Albanese, who is our current acting chief, while our chief is away on a well-deserved vacation. Afterwards, I'm going to come back and I'm going to make some comments, some closing comments to kind of wrap things up. So before we turn it over to Captain Albanese, I would like for Colette Simonton to come up, and we're going to do a special presentation. But just before we do that, I am remiss by saying, come on up. I am remiss by saying that we also have a board of directors from BART, Joel Keller, that's also with us. So thank you for everything that you've done for our region. We really appreciate it. And with that, Colette, I'll let you start it off.
Good morning, everyone. We would like to take a moment and acknowledge a special business within our community. A year ago, we started what was called the Black Diamond Business Award. That is an award that is to go to a business that goes above and beyond, a business that truly encompasses partnership, and not with the city of Pittsburgh, but with our community, with nonprofit organizations, with the school districts, with the city, with every element that makes up the city of Pittsburgh. So this year, we want to acknowledge a business that has been here for several years. When they came to our community, they came and truly embraced our community and everything that it was. They turned around the shopping center that they were within, and they continue to be involved in youth programming, senior programming, the school district, and everything above and beyond. That business is Maya Cinemas, and we'd like to ask them to come up to the podium so we can representatives from the Assembly and the Senate come up to also help us present this award. We could give them one more round of applause.
You do? We went to the movies here a couple weeks ago. Oh, that's what they do. I still love that movie.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Charles Dulac. I'm the East County Field Representative for Assemblymember Jim Frazier. I want to invite Mike up as well from Assemblymember Tim Grayson's office. We prepared a joint certificate from the State Assembly recognizing Maya Cinema for the work that they've done in the community of Pittsburgh. We're proud to present that on behalf of the Assembly members today. Congratulations.
Hi, my name is Daryl Little. I'm District Representative for Senator Glazer. I'm here with Cassie. It's our first day, so I have to come up here for a second. But we wanted to present certificates at Maya Cinema, so your distinguished award are being announced as the Black Diamond Business Award. Thank you.
We thank you. We're honored to be in Pittsburgh. It's been easy to do what we want to do. Our chairman has given us a mission to work within the community, as he did that his entire career, including making movies, but such as Selena and many others. But also he's been very active in education and has been in the many presidents' offices. And the mission for us was to reach into the community and see what we could help with. We offer scholarships, we offer movies for autistic kids to come and see for free. We do a lot of work with young people for service to the community, and it's ongoing. And working with the city has been a joy because everyone from Colette to the mayor has been phenomenal. I mean, it's great when you can talk to the mayor anytime. And, you know, you can talk about John Coltrane, not city business or movie, but he likes jazz like I like that. But it's just a down-to-earth city, and everybody's very, very, it's an honor to be here, really, for us, and to help in any way. And we see, like, the first time we were at a scholarship for the city, I saw the general manager of the hotel, Herman, right there, and he was giving them out for the Rotary. And so it's just the way the whole community comes together around everything, and the city makes it so much easier, everybody. And we were going to do a great car show, we were going to do all kinds of stuff to work within the community to help in any way possible. So if you have anything that's in need, or you think of ideas for young people, we're going to be working with the police department. We have worked with them very closely, and I'd just like to introduce Linnell Sanchez to come up and say a word. She's the president of our My Education Fund and does so many other things. We all wear a lot of hats, right?
I just want to say thank you to the city for this special recognition. It really goes a long way with all of our community, our stakeholders, and when we're going into different communities and different cities to build new theaters. This means a lot to us, all the way from the top down to the bottom of our staff and our theater employees. So thank you very much for the special recognition. I did want to say that with reference to our scholarships, that last year we were able to, with the help of the community, we were able to award $9,500 in scholarships to Pittsburgh high school students. So that was possible because of visit our theater, and Maya Cinemas is committed to matching every dollar at every theater every year up to $10,000 to award back to the community. So our goal is $20,000. And last year we did 10, so we hope to double that this year. So thank you very much for all of your help.
So again, I want to thank Maya and Larry both. There isn't probably a week and a half that goes by that I don't get an email or a phone call from either Larry or Linnell asking, what can we do for your community? How can we be better involved? And so they are getting involved in various programs. And they mentioned our POWER program, our local schools. And so these are partners that we love, we need, that are engaged, that are committed. They're just not here to make a profit and go away. They want to be intimately involved in our community. And so for the work that you do in our community, we thank you from the bottom of our heart.
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon, everyone. All right, we're getting there. So today, I'm fortunate to come up here today and talk to you a little bit about what's going on with the police department, some of our staffing levels, and where we're headed in the next year. So what I'm going to go with here is the first part, we're going to talk about our staffing level. Going into the 2018 fiscal year, we're actually increasing our staff by 3 officers. And our allotment is going to be 85 or so. So that's a significant increase for us. With that, we're doing that, meeting that need by hiring academy graduates and also working to hire officers that are existing with other agencies. We are currently staffed right now at 76 officers. We have 5 officers that are in training in the academy. They've only had about 2 months, so we expect them to run in November. They'll start their field training program. And then we also have several lateral officers that are currently in our hiring process that we hope to bring on within the next 2 to 3 months. So our next slide here, you're going to see our mission statement. I'll give you a second to look at that. The challenge of recruiting, hiring, and retaining officers in any workforce and having a diverse workforce is not just significant for workforce. Increasing diversity in law enforcement agency will only contribute to reform, the willingness to initiate cultural and systemic changes, and be more responsive to the residents of the community. When it comes to the Pittsburgh Police Department, we strive to obtain a diverse workforce. And we don't just mean diverse by race or gender, we also mean cultural background, languages, orientation, experience, both within the community where they came from and where they're at in life. With that, it's a critical, important tool for us to build upon and to continue with that connection with the community. So we'll get into some of what we're looking for as far as our stats. So here's the last 5 years of stats. 2017, we saw an increase of calls for service to just over 80,000 for the entire year. That comes out to about roughly 220 calls for service per day, or an increase of 11% over 2016. As you can see down there below, our adult and juvenile arrests were both up for the year 2017. Now, we would like to see the continued trend of juvenile arrests going down. But as you look through the numbers here, if you do the percentages, our juvenile arrests were proportional with our adult arrests. Just 4% or so for 2016, and they went up to about 5% for 2017. Part 1 crimes for the city, they are trending down, as we hope they continue. Our Part 1 crimes cap is murder, rape, robbery, aggravated assault, burglary, motor vehicle theft, larceny, and arson. So that's what we're capturing here. When you look at the graph, you can see from 2016 with the trend down, we are second to only Brentwood of those listed communities. And we are working significantly to keep those numbers on a downward trend. Our Code Enforcement Division. What's unique about our Code Enforcement Division, which I think is a big key to the department in the way that the city continues to strive against blight and increase our awareness, is the fact that it is primarily complaint-driven. And with that complaint-driven, we also have an educational process that we put into that. Last year, our Code Enforcement Division saw the highest number of complaints, which was actually a 21% increase over the previous year, or an additional 532 complaints. Each one of these complaints are worked on by our code enforcement staff, and there is actually a tracking system that we use to follow up, educate, and try to get compliance out of our citizens or businesses for the complaints. For 2016, we had a 72% compliance rate, which is pretty significant. In 2017, we saw that drop just a little bit to 65%. But through continued education with our community, we hope to gain compliance and bring those numbers right back up. So our freeway camera expansion. The city of Pittsburgh has approximately 150 cameras throughout our community. With that, We have 4 video cameras on our Highway 4 corridor that run from about the San Marcos area all the way out to Leverage Road, Somerville almost. And we have 8 automated license plate reader cameras also on the freeway, capturing both eastbound and westbound direction. What's significant with that is, as we started that program, especially the automated license plate reader systems, it was only the Pittsburgh staff, the Pittsburgh officers that would get the information for those systems as far as tracking stolen vehicles coming down the freeway, wanted vehicles, missing persons, anything that system can track. What we've done in this past year, we've been able to expand it to now, not only do our officers get that information and react to it, we have Antioch Police Department tied into the system, the Contra Costa County Sheriff's Office is tied into the system, the California Highway Patrol, which is working with the state is a whole other level, but we were able to tie them into the system now too. So now, not only are Pittsburgh officers able to react, enforce crimes, and deal with anyone traveling through our town, we have 4 other agencies that are there to assist us and help us and actively engage in this process. And with that, as you can see, the city, with the police department taking the lead, has developed and gone forward with a regional grant of up to $3 million put on by the Department of Transportation in allocating additional cameras on the Highway 4 corridor. Part of this program will also expand out into the Interstate 80 corridor out to the west end of the county. But the process will start out here in the east side of the county between Pittsburgh and Antioch. And with that is a one-of-a-kind developed shot spotter system that will be employed on the Highway 4 corridor between Rowan and Leverage Road. And that's fairly significant in development. And I can say that the police department was not the only body that got involved in this. There's been many other key players, the CHP, other county agencies throughout the region, but with our own city staff, we had significant help, and it definitely couldn't have happened without them. Our Public Works Director, Fritz McKinley, Director of Community Development, Jill Hedge, and Finance Director, Brad Farmer, were very, very involved in this project and will continue to be in the future when we do things. Crime analysis software. The department's made a significant impact and is working towards using a new crime analysis software system that we purchased, as well as hiring a crime analyst to work through the software. This software can provide us data, gather information, crime trends, deployment strategies, staffing levels when needed at certain times of the day. So we're utilizing that now, and we hope to put that out further in the future and use that to help us with problem-specific policing and identifying certain specific issues throughout the community and how to deal with them. And in addition to that, we purchased another piece of software from the Code Enforcement Division that will accurately track all the complaints that come in from the community and create a kind of a case tracking system per complaint for our staff to work through. And again, through education and development, we hope to gain more compliance out of that. So traffic. Traffic is probably the #1 concern that we hear from the neighborhood improvement meetings that we have throughout the city. And hopefully, folks that are all here, that if you have not ever attended one of our NIT meetings, you do in the future. So with that, we're pleased to announce that we have heard some of the complaints and concerns from the community, and we are expanding our traffic division. So in previous year, we've been operating with 1 sergeant supervisor in the traffic division and 2 officers. We're pleased to announce now that we've already increased our traffic division by 1 sergeant and 4 officers. And we have a 5th officer that will be joining the team within the coming months. As you can see through our continuing enforcement and also in the assistance of another grant that we received through the Office of Traffic Safety, our total collisions are down almost 32%. Fatal collisions are down 30%, and we have a decrease in D2I collisions by 31%. And that's part of that grant that we've been working for and trying to keep our streets safe. Community outreach. So this is a big thing for us. This is, again, that engagement piece with the community and reaching out not only to our citizens, but our students, our businesses, and all of our community groups. So we've increased our community outreach effort over the past year and will continue to do so. And by doing that, we've done that with our school resource officers, our police activity leads, our our K-9 units, and we recently added a community outreach coordinator. And I'm gonna ask Tony Baldazo, who's our community outreach coordinator, to wave your hand a little bit, stand up. So Tony's a big part of that. She's been tasked with all the community outreach events and helping us push forward in this effort to connect with the community. So if you have not yet talked to Tony, if you're a business in town, if you'd like to coordinate something with the police department, if you have concerns, Tony's the person I'll direct you to. And after we're done here today, Tony will be available to speak with you. But I do encourage you to reach out to her because she has a significant amount of resources to help continue forward. And again, a big part of this is Neighborhood Watch, National Night Out, the Special Olympics Torch Run, which we just had yesterday. If you haven't been on social media and seen our videos, the latest video went out last night at 8 p.m. and already this morning we have over 8,000 views on it. It's a lot of big fun. Coffee with Cops, Safety Days at USS POSCO. We're working with Maya Cinemas on scholarships and other events for training our officers at their facilities. Again, all of this is connected to the community and pushed forward in a collaborative manner. Quality of life issues. This is another concern that we've heard from the community. Displaced persons and the transient population in East County is not specific just to Pittsburgh. In fact, it's a county-wide issue that all agencies in the county are working through. In an effort to work with our displaced population, the police department's partnered with a number of community groups. We actually have an officer that is assigned as a homeless liaison officer that works specifically with our displaced population and getting them housing, helping them with locations, family services, things like that. We also have what's called a med officer. It's a mental health clinician that goes out with our officer, and we have a mental health evaluation team officer that's assigned to this county team, and they go out and they help with our displaced persons that have mental health needs. And with addition to that, we also received a grant from the Los Adonis Hospital District to provide some of our displaced persons with personal necessities, simple things, toothbrushes, toothpaste, deodorant. If the middle of the winter night, if they need a place to stay, we have vouchers for hotel rooms. We have food vouchers that we can hand out. So we've really done a lot of work to work with our displaced community and try to assist them in moving forward with their lives. So social media. Not sure how big everyone in this room is with social media. You might as well get on the train because it's moving fast. The police department's on 4 platforms now, and we're moving forward with all the new ones that come out. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Nextdoor. As you can see, those are our followers that we have listed, which is pretty significant for a police department. As far as Facebook, from what we can tell, our department has the biggest following for the Pittsburgh community. Not just as far as the city, but I mean it's all the community. So we're really proud of that, really push that forward. We're constantly trying to reach out to the public, and this is one of the means that we can do it now. Our Nextdoor app, which is a place where residents can actually connect, ask questions, join in together, Neighborhood Watch. That's over 8,000 followers now in just the last week since these numbers went up. So during the past month, the department's Facebook page reached over 53,000 people and had connections with over 39,000. Again, significant numbers. A lot of this was accomplished in the last year, and through the work of our community outreach groups and Tony Baldazo, the team she works with, this is a lot of effort in this area. Our school resource officers, we currently have 4 school resource officers. They work between the high school and the middle schools throughout the community. Not only do they work in schools, they also attend a lot of the significant events in the community. Police Activity League events, any youth foundation events. They're constantly out there to engage with the youth. The police department commits to the theory that investing in the youth of today in our community will only help our city in the future, and that's what we're striving forward with. And it's with that connection and partnering with the school district that we were able to, for the next school year starting in August, we're adding a 5th SRO to the team. Again, significant push forward to engage with our youth and bring them forward and bring them some of the resources they need as they move forward with their life and become adults. Our K-9 unit. Again, this is another resource we use. Kids love the K-9 units. They're constantly at the schools. They're constantly doing community events and reaching out with the public. We have a total of 5 K-9s at this time. Our K-9s are multidisciplinary. They're all trained in search and apprehension, but we have 2 K-9s that are specifically trained in narcotics detection, and we have 2 K-9s that are specifically trained in gun and explosive ordnance detection, which we're pretty proud of. One such event we had recently, and luckily it turned out to be a hoax, but we took it seriously, is we had an event where there was an email that went to the school district regarding a possible device being on one of the school buses. We were able to act fast, get our K-9 units involved, and our K-9s went out and searched every bus through the bus yard within a matter of hours, and able to get those buses back on the road for the morning. That's significant to us, and that means a lot. Our 5th K-9 is Duke. He's a brand new K-9, 2-year-old German Shepherd. He's new to the program, just finished his initial search and apprehension training, and he's still waiting for a specialty. So we'll get him working forward. Another significant jump is Marine Patrol unit. We applied for and were accepted for a UASI grant, which is a Bay Area group for Homeland Security, also sponsored by FEMA. And we were able to acquire a 34-foot boat. It's called a Moose boat. It's the manufacturer name, but it's a 34-foot twin outboard, 300 horsepower boat. I can guarantee you in this room, I can tell you right now, that is the fastest law enforcement fire boat, anything you're going to see out here on the Delta right now, which is significant with some of the details they've already worked. Search and rescue, displaced boaters, stranded boaters. We've done some other search and rescue for missing persons in the last couple months. They also operated in Fleet Week last year in October. We actually got the boat probably 3 weeks before Fleet Week. All that's part of the grant also is that boat is part of a network for the Bay Area, mutual aid network. So with that, we are working with these other agencies, Richmond, Contra Costa County Sheriff's Office, Solano County, Sac County. We're all connected by the Delta, and this unit is out there working with them. One recent event they just were part of is called Delta Blitz. It's a law enforcement education event that starts on Memorial Day weekend, which is typically the kickoff of the motor summer boating. And where they go out and they do enforcement and education out in the Delta waterways for the entire weekend. And ceasefire. Ceasefire is another very important component of what we've added to the police department last year. It's a partnership amongst community members, law enforcement, service providers, and they work together to end gun violence in our community. They use data analysis to identify individuals that are possibly involved in a lifestyle that involves guns, and they work towards moving these folks out of that lifestyle and into a more productive lifestyle. And again, the ultimate goal is to reduce violence in our community. So with this, you can see that we partner with Antioch Police Department, Brentwood, Concord, Oakley, the DA's office, and probation, the sheriff's office. As far as the Pittsburgh Police Department, we've contributed 1 sergeant who is actually overseeing and implementing this program for East County. And it's really just getting under its way. They had a very successful event last week here in town. But we expect great things out of this, and we hope to look forward and this program continues in the future. So that is all I have for you from the police department. Again, I just want to thank all the business and community members in the town. The police department can't do this on their own. This is a community connection that we all have to make this city what it is. And it's with those partnerships, with the school district, with the businesses, and with everything else that's going to make these connections and build this city up to what it is. And I thank you for your time. And I will introduce our assistant city manager.
Thank you, Captain. They have some incredible programs over at the police department. I'm Garrett Evans. Good afternoon. Your assistant city manager. I've been with the city for 21.5 years. And it really is amazing to see how some of these programs have really taken off, how downtown's changed, how some of these businesses have grown. And so as we look at the city really is a $200 million enterprise in a lot of ways, in Illinois County. And so, generally speaking, our general fund, or what we talk about a lot of times in budget, covers administration, police, some of the park maintenance, some of those things, is roughly $44 million. This year, we have about a $600,000 shortfall that we're covering within our fund balance. But again, that's about 1%, 1.5%. So it's well within a tolerance level when you're at the $40 million level. But again, it's a $200 million enterprise that we receive direction from council to implement the policies and goals. So our financial ratings, they continue to improve, which is something that's reflective of a very diverse, spread out community, both in commercial and residential components. We've had 13 bond rating upgrades since March 2011. S&P Global recently said strong financial profile, stable population growth, healthy labor market, and strong median household effective buying income, which improved our bond ratings, which then lowers our costs. So how does that translate into housing indicators? Well, our median sales price from last year when we were here was $395,000. It's now $440,000. It's an 11% increase. The average price per square foot has increased to $278 from $104 over the last 7 years. And foreclosures and short sales continues to fall. In 2017, it only accounted for 3% of all sales compared to 5%. So again, overall, we're seeing an improved economy throughout Pittsburgh. Commercial business licenses, they've grown 30% since 2008. So it's a fantastic amount of growth. It's flattening off a little bit here in 17-18. But what I found interesting looking a little bit deeper into the statistics, and I'll try not to get too deep into those. This past year, our sales tax receipts from April 2017 through March of 2018, the state of California experienced a 3.6% growth in sales tax receipts. Northern California was 3.9%. The city of Pittsburgh was 11.2% in growth. That's the largest growth in the county, including the county. So out of 20 different entities, the city of Pittsburgh had the most growth over the last year. So again, we were seeing very good signs in our economy and in sales growth. Labor force also reflects some of this data. In October of 2009, we had an unemployment rate of 16.9%. It was a very, very large number. April just came out, the preliminary numbers are 3.3%. That's the lowest it has ever been since 1990. So again, this community has seen a dramatic growth in the labor market, in sales tax. And if you go to the Think Pittsburgh website, it gives you a lot of this demographic information. It also breaks it down, where are the jobs? And we have a very diverse labor force. As you can see here, 13% are executive managers or administrators, another 13% are in office and administrative support, 12% in sales, 7% in education training. So it is a very broad labor market pool. And we have more than just that. It's an active community. The Marine Patrol will be busy probably this weekend for our Delta Board meeting, which is our 4th annual kiteboarding competition. That'll be held this weekend. We have other events. Pittsburgh Diamonds, our minor league team with our newest rival Martinez out there. We also have 4th of July, Wine and Art First Fridays, music in the park, movies in the park. California Theater and Tommy T brings comedians throughout the community. So, and we just found out this past week we'll have a fishing derby for the first time in quite a while. So a whole host of things to do. It's the economy's going well, and so we hope next year is even better. And now I'll introduce Joseph Brandon, the city manager.
Good afternoon, thanks for coming out. Garrett talked a little bit about some of the diverse investments and some of the diverse opportunities that we have. I want to hit on that a little bit more. Specifically, we have 5 council members that come from various backgrounds. We have an engineer, we have an ex-cop, we have someone who's currently working in an ethics department, we have someone who's committed her entire life to the youth and to to recreation programs, and we have a land use expert. We have a variety of different experiences coming to the purpose of serving the city of Pittsburgh, and it serves us well. I had a conversation with the chief of police a few years back where he told me that when he hires his staff, he hires people not all to do the exact same task. In fact, he used an analogy, which I love. He started talking about a football team. You don't want to have 50 quarterbacks on your team. You're not going to win. You need a diverse set of skills. You need offensive linemen, you need wide receivers, you need those quarterbacks, but you can't have all of one position. And he treats his police department with that same idea in mind, trying to get those skill sets that complement one another. Staff all throughout the city has been mimicking that same approach and trying to bring in a variety of skill sets. So when we talk about stronger through diversity, as you'll hear more about that, that's what we're talking about. So what I'm really supposed to be talking about is we're going to talk a little bit about construction. Specifically, we've had another good year of building permits that are issued through the city. And what does that mean? That means people have a confidence that they're ready to reinvest into their properties. They're sure that their property values are going to go in the right direction, so they go out there and they do improvements. The same holds true for the solar energy permits. You get solar panels put on your roof, your values go up, but you're committing to an investment that is an indicator that you have confidence. That's the highest number of solar energy permits that we've had issued in the city's history. So again, a good sign. Single-family homes, new multifamily homes, those numbers look a little bit low. It's a little bit deceiving because we had a lot of multifamily homes permitted a little over a year ago, so it did fall into the last fiscal year. But coming online in this next few months, we're going to have a total of more than 200 homes that will be completed within the city, and that's a consistent number that we've seen for decades. It's served us very well. We don't have the peaks and valleys. We tend to be between 200 and 300 homes completed a year. We expect that to continue. The commercial buildings, that one definitely fluctuates. We get different numbers each year, but we have continued to see some growth there. I want to talk a little bit about housing projects that are not yet in construction, but that are on the books and coming soon. We have 8 significant projects that are coming forward. All told, that will add 4,000 units to Pittsburgh. We're already at over 72,000 in our population now. This is gonna drive that population well over 80,000 by the time it's complete. This is not something that's gonna happen overnight. It's not something that's gonna happen just in a couple of years. It's gonna take well over a decade to complete those projects. As I just mentioned, 200 to 300 homes per year serves us very well. I'll touch on the diversity again. Those homes are not all up in the hills. They're not all out on one end of the town or another. Some are infill projects, some are up in the hills, some are on the east, some are on the west, some are multi-family, and some are single family. So again, that market share that you want to have an opportunity to grab, we get a little bit of everything, so you don't end up committed in one area only. And again, that serves us very well. I want to highlight on the next slide. I want to highlight a couple of buildings that are underway now. The Sonic project that many of you are very excited about. You'll get your health food over there in about 2 months. On Railroad Avenue, there's an older building that's being renovated, and that's not the only one. There's been a couple in our downtown where folks have come out and invested private money into the downtown. That is, again, a mixture of old and new. Old coming back to life, which is great to see. We had it for many years with redevelopment, but when redevelopment money went away, it stopped. We're seeing it slowly come back. Again, a good indicator for us. Next slide, I want to highlight that we have the Giacomelli Park project now open. That's one that was sorely needed out on the west end of town. Those folks out in San Marco, Vista Del Mar, Oak Hills, they've asked for years to get that park going. We finally did. The captain mentioned our neighborhood improvement team meetings. Year after year, I would get people saying, when's the park going to be built? We opened it a couple of months ago. It's been heavily used. As we went out to that end of town, we asked questions. What is it that you need out here? And they did very much want the park, but they also let us hear that they need more commercial, more retail. So on the western half of that park, we're considering the idea of adding some more retail. Maybe a restaurant, maybe some more shops. That's something that they push for. Right now, we are preserving that last couple acres to see if we can make something like that happen. It would still get an additional park on top of that, and also some multi-use or some joint use opportunities when schools are added, but that opportunity for some more retail was something that they were pushing for. Hearing that same comment caused us, and I don't have a slide for this, but on Alves Ranch Road, there's a vacant piece of property owned by Jerry Alves. He is in the process of selling that property, and as he does, we struck an agreement with the buyer, William Lyon Homes, to complete 12 acres of retail right in the middle of that property, which again is something that we hear all the time. You need more retail out here. At build out, the area west of Bailey Road will add up to 25,000 people in just that area of Pittsburgh alone. That's not counting any of Bay Point. That's Pittsburgh. It's like a city all by itself, and right now they have the one Safeway on Bailey Road, which is overwhelmed. So the addition of that 12 acres of retail is something we're very much looking forward to. We have that in contract now, and we're going to be pushing to make that happen as quickly as possible. So capital projects. So each year we reinvest into our infrastructure citywide. We don't target one area or another, we target all areas of the city. We've been averaging over $10 million a year in the past several years. Again, we used to have redevelopment, great tool to reinvest. Lost that, but we've still found ways to keep reinvesting into the city's infrastructure. Currently, we just wrapped up the water treatment plant improvements, over $11 million. That money is going toward efficiencies at the treatment plant. It's hitting some of the regulatory requirements, and it's also going to make the water taste better. So as you get back to your homes in the coming weeks, as that has just come online, you should start to see an improvement in the taste of the water. The quality's always been there from a safety standpoint, but the new filtering should have an impact on taste. We're looking forward to the feedback on that. Multimodal transfer facility at the intersection of California and Railroad Avenue is virtually complete. It's up and running. We have some reader board signs that are going to be going up, some state-of-the-art signs that are going to be going up in the near future. But that station or that transfer facility is allowing people to get to and from mass transit, to and from the bus systems, bikes coming and going. It's an integral part of what is happening at that location, which I'll talk a little bit about more in just a moment. We have an ongoing citywide sewer and water project that is repairing lines all over town, and it's targeting some capacity issues in some of the problem areas. That project is scheduled to wrap up in the next 6 to 12 months, but it'll immediately be followed, or shortly after, by another water and sewer project, which is going to specifically zero in on the oldest lines in the city to eliminate some of the problems that we've had there with the breaks and make sure that those communities are not inconvenienced again. That repair system, or that repair project, is going to be over $11 million reinvested into our city infrastructure. I skipped over the road repair. That's SB1, Senate Bill 1. Thank you to our representatives who voted for that. It is a gas tax that we all pay to maintain our roadways. For Pittsburgh, our share of that gas tax on an annual basis, we're looking at it to start coming in at a rate of over $1 million a year, again, to reinvest into our roadways. We have over 200 lane miles of roadways, so you can imagine by the time we go from one end to the other, we have to start over again. And we need that money to be a constant flow to keep putting it into the roadways. So we're excited that we're going to be able to get started with that, hopefully later this year out on West Leland Road with the first piece of those funds to reinvest into the city. James Donlin Boulevard Extension, probably been part of this report for a couple of decades now. I mentioned it last year, I'll mention it again this year. We do have funding on the books for this particular project. It is a $70+ million project, heavily funded by a group of cities, Pittsburgh, Antioch, Oakley, and Brentwood, all contributing their regional transportation funds toward the completion of that project. That group, also known as East Contra Costa Regional Fee and Finance Authority, is going to be setting aside over $10 million a year for the next few years, not just because we trust them, but because we have a contract that makes sure that is the #1 priority project going forward. So those funds are coming in, and that project is going to be phased, and you'll start seeing segments of construction in the next year or two, with the main contract probably 2 or 3 years out. In fact, I believe staff is actually on site as we speak doing the testing that it will result in the final design of the project. So we're looking forward to that getting going after several decades of waiting. So last but certainly not least on my slide list is BART. This is a long-awaited project. Going back in time, BART was originally opened for business in 1972. It wasn't until 1996 that they extended out to Pittsburgh Bay Point. 22 years later, they got their extension going to go all the way out to Hillcrest Station, and they were ready to just completely bypass Pittsburgh. They were going to extend that right past us. We're going to just wave at the trains as it went by until something amazing happened. Government did what it's supposed to do. Metropolitan Transportation Commission, BART, and the Contra Costa Transportation Authority worked with the city of Pittsburgh to make it happen. They put the funds together, working collaboratively to problem solve and find a way to make the Pittsburgh Center Station a reality. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that there was also another group that was asked to contribute to this. The property owners around the BART station were asked to tax themselves. We've got Joel Keller sitting here, but I don't think I need to ask, has this ever happened before in East County? Has this ever happened before in Contra Costa County? The answer is no, it's never happened on the entire BART system. Pittsburgh, as a city, contributed funds, and the property owners surrounding that station stepped up and voted to tax themselves. This is truly an indication that Team Pittsburgh is alive and well, and all of the things that you're hearing today are indicators of that. With that, I'm going to turn it back over to Mr. Merrill.
Okay, so one slide that we got past was Team Pittsburgh. We call ourselves Team Pittsburgh. That phrase happened long before I became on the council. So I believe it started 14 years ago when Nancy Parent was on the city council. We call ourselves Team Pittsburgh, and this is why. The city council cannot go at these projects alone. We need the help of the community members, our staff, our business owners like yourselves, service organizations, and other government agencies, as Joe Schiavone said. So that's Team Pittsburgh. And those are the people that we get our ideas from, we get our feedback from, we collaborate with, that we make things happen. The next slide. So you've heard quite a bit of information from our staff today. And some of the things that we absolutely have to do. We have to continue to strengthen our partnerships as we leverage our resources as we move forward in order to make this city continue to be successful. We need to continue to look at economic development opportunities and long-term community benefits. And we are seeing that when our staff work with developers, our businesses that want to come into town, businesses that want to invest back into the community. Those are community benefits. We need that in order to have a equal balance of what this community needs. We must continue to live within our means. We cannot afford to go sideways and spend what we don't have. We have a fiscal sustainability ordinance, which is our roadmap as to how we handle our funds and what we do. That's kind of like our Bible as to how we use our money. You've heard how we have got bond ratings increases over and over again. That is equivalent to us getting a better FICO score. We can do better if we have a better rating. We must also continue to think outside of the box of what we have done in the past. We need to find new ways to make things happen, and we will continue to do more with less. Through our partnerships and accomplishments, we are starting to be recognized for our law enforcement and technology, how we handle our finances, our transportation efforts, our parks and our trails, working with developers, creating community facility districts that will pay for our parks and so on. We've recently, as of the day before yesterday, have been recognized by the Contra Costa County Court-Appointed Special Advocates Program. So they want to recognize us for the work that we do, specifically in reference to the quality of life. And let me just read this, a quote from this email. The Board of Directors have chosen to honor Pittsburgh City Council because of your citywide goals in years 2017 to 18, 2018 to 19, include improvement of quality of life for Pittsburgh residents. This is a laudable goal, and more importantly, you have taken concrete steps to ensure that even the most vulnerable residents, abused and neglected children, are included in these goals. That is a pretty strong statement. We're going to be receiving an award in October, and these are the things that we're trying to do. You've heard quality of life earlier in some of the presentations. That's our goal. How do we do what's best for the community? But in all fairness, the heavy lifting is not done by the council. It is done by our staff. So I want to take a moment to have every Pittsburgh employee that are here to please stand up and be recognized for the hard work that you all do. Thank you. In closing, the state of our city is healthy and is moving in the right direction. Now, are we a perfect city? The answer is no. Do we have challenges ahead? The answer is yes. Do we have the capacity to meet the upcoming challenges that's going to be before us? Yes, we do. But each and every venture that the city takes on must be evaluated and be able to stand on its own merit for the greater good of the entire communities for years to come. This is a thought process that our policymakers, myself and others, those who are going to come long after me, long after who are here, they have to have that mindset. We have to do what's good for the greater good. We know that over time, there's issues that come up in a community. And we have to make decisions that are unpopular. It's very uncomfortable. But when you stop and you think, is this good for all? Can we sustain it? Can we make it happen? Is it the right thing that we're doing? Is it going to break us? That has to always be in the forefront of our mind. So with that, I'm going to wrap up, and I am proud to say that the city is going in the right direction. So I want to thank you on behalf of the City Council for your support, for your time, for your attention, for supporting us in the efforts that we take. Thank you. God bless you all.
Definitely very excited to hear about all the plans that are taking place here in Pittsburgh, and glad to be part of the business community, as we've just heard how the business community is going to be able to help make these plans and how to be a partner with the city and making things happen. So it's very exciting to hear this. It's great news to hear that crime is down and all that. So as the business community, I think we're very excited. I love saying the word excited. It's a good word, right? We're ecstatic for what's going on here in Pittsburgh and glad to be part of it. I do want to give a couple of shout outs and thanks to our caterers from Santanella's. They did an awesome job. Great food. We had Richard Gregg, who also provided music on the guitar before the event as you're coming in. One of my friends from high school, his dad, Wes Goebel, who provided the photography today, and you'll be able to see that on our Facebook page. And then also, this meeting is currently being streamed live, so those sitting next to the cameras, hopefully you kept your P's and Q's, because this is on the Chamber Facebook page, and it will be archived there so that you can view it later on and look at the snippets that you want. And that was provided by Devon Alexander, a local business here in Pittsburgh, so he's out in the back and doing a great job for us. And last but not least, my waistline definitely appreciated this. Elise Davila from Nick Sandwiches, who provided the sweets for this evening, or this afternoon, so great cupcakes. So I know we're all busy. My phone's been going off the hook. I got tenants without AC. That's what a property manager loves to get those, right, Bob? So just a couple of reminders. August 16th, the Rotary Club of Pittsburgh is going to be having a mixer at the Hampton Inn. And the one great announcement that we have as a chamber is that the Seafood Festival this year is going to be epic. We are doing a lot of things differently and really excited about what's going to be taking place because you've never seen anything like what you're going to see this year. So very excited for that. It is September 8th and 9th. It is the largest event in East Contra Costa County right here in Pittsburgh, where people get to come and witness all the great things that's taking place in our city and what the chamber is doing as well. So just again, thank you for coming. Thank you for supporting the city of Pittsburgh, and thank you for bringing your business here in Pittsburgh, and please tell your friends this is the best place to operate. Thank you.